Greetings and welcome to this channel. Efficient Algos. In this video, we are going to see this LeetCode question called to-sum. You are fortunate if this question comes up in your interview. But at the same time, it is among the most commonly asked question. Here, given an array and a target number, we need to find two number from the array, which adds up to the target element. Example, given the array nums here and target element 9. We need to find two numbers which are 2 and 7 here, which adds up to 9. Here in this version of to-sums, we need to return the index of these two elements of the array. A common another version of this question is to return the element itself instead of returning the indices. Now, with this understanding, we can solve this using two loops, which would be the brute force way of solving this. And this method is likely not expected as an answer. Here, we would have two loops, one loop would take an element from the array, and another inner loop over the same array would find sum over all other values. Once the target is met, we return the index of the element found. Here, I is the index of the outer loop, and x is the element itself. This Python enumerate method returns the index in the element. And similarly, we have another for loop, with j as index and y as the element. Now, we check if the sum of x and y is the target. We break from the loop and return the index of I and j. Note: here we need to do one extra check of the case where we might mistakenly compare the element with itself and return that as the result, which is incorrect, as we need to find two elements from the array, not return the same element index twice. Example 2 is such a case. If we compare 3 with 3, we would get the target 6. But we need 2 and 4 as result. So, hope you got the corner case, why we need the extra check, where we say I must not be equal to j along with the main logic. And finally, we return an empty array if no such two elements are found, whose sum is equal to the target element. Check always the problem statement, which is the return type, for such cases, an empty array or two indexes of -1 etc. Now, this was the brute force solution. It is better to come up with this answer than no answer at all. But if look at its time complexity, it is O of n square. Because we are iterating over the array twice for each element in the array. But for space complexity, no extra space is required, as all we are doing is some comparisons. Now, let us explore a better way of doing this problem at the expense of some space. Here, the idea is to avoid looping over the array twice, but go over it just once. So the time complexity would be at worst case O of n. If we need to iterate over every element. But we are going to use a dictionary data structure of Python. It is hash map or map in another programming language. The logic is quite simple here. We iterate over the nums array with its index and element. We find a to search variable by subtracting current element num from the target element. Now, this to search is the other element we are looking, which when added to the current element gives the target element. If you remember the basic algebra from high school, if we move the num from right to left side of the equation, it changes its sign, and this gives the equation where to search plus current element num gives the target. Now, the step is this simple conditional logic, where we say, if this to search is not in the lookup map, which is the case, when we start this loop for the first element we go ahead and the current element and its index to the map. Element goes as the key and index as value. And if the to search element is found, then we return the index of the existing element in the lookup map and the current element index. That's all. So, when the search element is not found in the lookup map, it will be kept on adding to the map. But once the element is found, we return the indexes. If this looks confusing to you, you could try pausing the video at this moment and go over the steps for each element. Example: 2 is the current element. 9 minus 2 is 7. Which is checked in lookup. Not found. Add 2 to lookup. With the value of 2 and 0 as an index. Then 7 is the current element. 9 minus 7 is 2. Which is found in the lookup. So the result is 0, 1. 0 from lookup from 1 from the current element index. Hope you liked the explanation of this simple, common but good practice question related to arrays. Here the space complexity is also O of n like its time complexity. O of n space complexity is because we need an extra map to store the array elements. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe to this channel to see more such informative videos.